Hi, these are notes for Thursday, May 3rd. Thursday, May 3rd. Notes. This is all you guys take an air test, or if you were absent yesterday, this is your notes. This is about applying trig functions. It has a lot to do with SOHCAHTOA. And it has a lot to do with knowing how to use your calculator, how to cross multiply, things like that. Okay, so in this first triangle here, they have it labeled triangle PRQ, and it says right here that P is 35. So you're going to actually fill that in to where angle P is. You also know that angle R is 90. They don't need to tell you that because it is already drawn in there, and that's 90. So that's two things you know. And then they're going to tell you one more thing. They tell you that R is 14. Now that is side R. This is a side. The small case letters are sides. So if R is 14, find little r. See right here? Put in a 14. Now, that is a side, and you have to know the sides. Is it the opposite side, the adjacent side, or the hypotenuse? So, because this is opposite the 90-degree angle, this one's the hypotenuse. Okay, now, so far, that means we're going to be either using SO or COT, because they have the H's in them for hypotenuse. So, we're going to be using one of these. We're not using tangent. And then the one that we're going to use has something to do with this. What are we finding? We're finding Q. So let's look at find Q. See this Q right here? I want you to circle this. We're finding this. We were given this, and we were given this. So we are given these two things right here, and of course the 90, but we don't even use the 90. So we're given this angle, this hypotenuse, and they're asking us for this side. So according to 35, is this side Q the adjacent side or the opposite side of 35? Hopefully you're saying the adjacent side. So that means we are using cosine. If you look up here, cosine is CAH. So cosine means cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So if we fill in what we know in this problem into this ratio, we should be able to solve for it. So the angle is the 35. So fill theta, 35 in for theta. The adjacent side is Q. That's what you're solving for. And the hypotenuse was given side 14. Now in cross multiplying, if the variable is in the top, that's a good thing. We're going to put this over 1 to make it a proportion, and then you're going to cross multiply. So Q times 1 is Q. And then you're going to take 30 cosine 35 times 14. To make sure you get this answer, you have to make sure you're in degrees. So if you press mode, see right here in degrees, make sure you're in degrees. And I like to press in 14 before cosine. That way I don't have to worry about parentheses. So 14 times cosine of 35. Is 11.5. Do you guys see that? So Q is 11.5, around to the nearest tenth, and that's it. That's your answer for side Q. Now for example 2, angle B is 26. So fill it in. Side B is 18. That goes there. Right there. Side B. Circle it. And we're going to find side C. We're finding that. So circle the two that are given and circle the one you're finding. Now let's fill in what these names are. So what is side C called? See that 90-degree angle? Everyone should know that side C is called the hypotenuse. Write it in. What is 18 called? Adjacent or opposite when you're looking at 26? So 26 like straight across. So 18 is the opposite side. So which trig function deals with opposite and hypotenuse? Let's look up here. This time we're using sine. See that? Opposite hypotenuse. So I want you to write sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Let's make sure we don't mess it up. So write that out. Now what is the angle? So it is sine of the angle, which is 26, equals opposite 18 over hypotenuse. So if you cross multiply, you get C sine 26 equals 18, and then we're going to have to divide by sine 26, and we're going to get C equals 18 over sine 26. Now there is a little trick that you can do if you want to skip this step right here, like if you don't want to do this step. Whenever the C or the variable's in the bottom, you just switch places with these two. C comes up here, sine 26 comes in here. Now, look, so if you know that, you skip this step right here and go straight over here. Do you see what I did? The C is now in the place of sine 26, and the sine 26 is where the C was. So you can skip this thing. So whatever the variable's in the bottom, write that down. If variable is in the bottom, switch places with the angle. Okay, so now we're over here. So punches in your calculator. It's 18 divided by sine 26. 41.1. So that means that side C is 41.1. That's the hypotenuse. This next problem is kind of weird. Instead of doing this problem, I'm going to change this to like volleyball net. Let's pretend like this is a volleyball net. We're going to set this up for our graduation party. So if you have a volleyball net and you buy it at Dick's Sporting Goods, it looks like this, and it comes with these two silver poles that are kind of thin. If you try to set it up in your yard, it will fall down. So what do they give you? They give you these long yellow ropes. Now these yellow ropes have to be, it's called tethered to the ground or staked to the ground. So they give you these little yellow ropes and then you put stakes on the ground. Now it's not going to do any good with just one. So you have to have a friend. Like you're doing this one and you have a friend doing the other one over here. And you'll know if you're the same distance apart by the fact that the volleyball net will be level. So this run right here and this right triangle are going to be the same ones. So you actually have trigonometry even when you're setting a volleyball net up. So this rope forms an angle with the ground, and then the ground with the pole forms a 90-degree angle. So the 90-degree angle is right there. This is the rope, and then this is the angle that we're going to be finding. Okay, so this is the problem that they had was a circus tent. So you probably set a tent up before in your life. When you set a tent up, you have to have these ropes that are staked to the ground. It's kind of the same thing. So the important words that we need, we're going to pretend like this is a volleyball net instead of a circus, is that it's 40 feet above the ground, the pole. So we're going to write the pole is 40 feet above the ground, or the net, the top of the net is 40 feet above the ground. So this whole thing right here is 40. All right, and then the other thing is that the angle that the rope makes with the level ground is 50 degrees 15. The angle that the rope makes with the ground, that's this right here, 50 degrees 15 minutes. And they want to know how long is the rope. That's right there. So according to 50 degrees 15 minutes, what is 40? Is it the opposite or adjacent side? This is the opposite side. What is x? It's the hypotenuse. So which one deals with OH? Sine does. So you're going to go sine of 50 degrees 15 minutes is equal to opposite 40 over hypotenuse x. Right here. Opposite over hypotenuse. Now, see how the x is in the bottom? I can't just cross multiply to get my answer here. So we are going to switch places. So x is going to come up here. Sine 50 degrees 15 minutes down here. So we're dividing. So it's 40 divided by sine 50 degrees. Now when you do 50 degrees, you have to do 50 second apps. See that little apps button right here? Remember these little things? We just took a quiz on it. Press in 1. And the minutes is 15 second apps 2. See the minutes right there? 2. Press equals. It's 52.
5, 4, and 3, 2.
Now angle of elevation is always the angle at the bottom of the triangle. Right here. Angle of depression is up here, but they're actually the same angle. So whenever you see an angle of elevation or angle of depression problem, you're going to draw a 90-degree angle, triangle, and your angle of elevation is always going to be here, right there, no matter what. If they said angle of depression, it's actually on the outside, but using alternate interior angles, it's still going to be here. So whether they say angle of depression or elevation, put it right there. So in this problem has to do with the longest escalator in the world. This is an escalator. Escalators are diagonal. And it says that it has a vertical rise of 195.8. I'm sorry that the announcement's wrong. Okay, this is the vertical rise, 195.8. Vertical rise. Make sense? Vertical rise. It says
Good
that
morning,
the angle
President.
of
It's
elevation
Thursday,
of the
May
escalator
3rd,
is
November.
10.34. That
Kathy.
goes on
So
the
Biblical
ground
Bait is offering
across from
chicken
the
fajita,
90
refried
degrees.
and black beans,
Angle of
golden
elevation.
corn, romaine salad,
Put that
and
right
a
there.
fruit cup for lunch today.
What's up,
So it
North? I'm
says,
Joel.
what is the length of the
There'll be a
escalator?
hat
So
day this
on
Friday, May
SoCotoa
4th,
here,
to raise money
which
for
one are we
Nathan's family,
using?
our student that sadly passed away.
So this is
Please
opposite,
donate $1
this
to
is
your first block
hypotenuse.
teacher.
We want
Thank
sine.
you so much.
Free magic show this
So
Saturday,
it
May
is
5th.
sine of
Showtime 7 p.m. at
10.34
Peace
degrees
United
equals
Methodist Church
opposite
in Scranton. Feature our very own Jake Lundgren.
over hypotenuse, which is the
Magic with a
escalator.
message. Please come and support.
We'll call it
And
the
now a special
escalator.
announcement.
E.
Drug Free Club is hosting a food truck
Notice
fest
the
on May
variables
5th
in the bottom, so
from
you're going to
6
go
p.m.
E equals
for the entire precinct
195.8 over
If you're a
sine
Drug Free
of
Club member like us, you'll get free
10.34.
water and a chance to win a basket of goodies at the
Punch that in your calculator.
There will be multiple food trucks, live music, blow-ups, and much more at the festival. There will also be a North versus Central volleyball tournament during the festival at the Sand Volleyball Courts. If you are interested in being in the Sand Volleyball tournament,
That's not
contact
right.
Kelsey Hall.
Oh, yes, it
We hope
is.
to see you in
It's
the
an
student parking
escalator.
lot May
It's
5th at the Figure 2 Food
1090.9.
Truck Festival.
And now, today's Panther Sports Report with
This
Chloe.
means that this
What's good, all you
escalator
Panther
is
sports
more than
fans out
3
there?
times the
Chloe
length
here
of a
with your
football
Panther
field.
Sports Report.
Take 3
4
football
p.m.
fields,
boys
put them
varsity
together,
tennis
and it's
versus
still longer than
Westerville
that.
North away. 5 p.m.
Longest
boys varsity
escalator in the
baseball
world.
versus
All right.
Bishop Hartley. 5:15 p.m. girls
Isosceles
varsity softball
triangles
versus
are right
Lancaster
here.
home.
These
6:45
are called
p.m.
base
boys varsity
angles.
volleyball versus Pick Central away. All boys interested in running
Okay.
cross country next fall, there
The
will be an
base is
informational meeting
14
on Thursday, May
meters
17th
long.
at 3 o'clock in the lecture
But if
hall.
it's cut in
If you can't
half
make it,
right here,
please
that means this is
see
7
Coach
and
Tim
this is
Starkey.
7.
And now back over to Joe.
So
at the
basically,
anchor
we don't
desk
need
with the late
both these
announcement
triangles.
and today's
We don't need the whole thing because it's
Thanks,
not a right
Chloe,
triangle. We
the
need
yellow
half
side.
of it. Half
Happy
of it
birthday to
is the
fallen
right triangle.
Panthers.
So I just
Angela
want you to
Katie,
come over here and draw
Benjamin
half of it.
Weston, Anderson Dismore,
This is the base angle.
Nicholas
So it
Fry,
says the base angles are
Deontay
42.5. So
Ryan,
fill in
Caleb,
42.5 there.
and Kira
So if you're
Sabay.
doing it over
That's
here,
all for today's
42.5,
show. We hope you have a
42.5.
great
It's both
day.
of them.
This has been Brooke, Cassie.
Joe, reporting for the North News Network.
This is 7 because the whole base was 14, so half of it's 7. And they want us to find the length of the leg. Which one of these is the leg? This is the leg. This is the leg, and this is the leg. So the legs are the hypotenuses. So we're finding the leg. So which trig function would we use this time? So this is our angle. What is 7? 7 is the adjacent side. What is the leg? It's the hypotenuse. So we're using cosine. Cosine of 42.5 is equal to 7 over the hypotenuse, which is the one we're trying to find. We'll call it the hypotenuse. So we have to switch places. It's in the bottom. The variable's in the bottom. So we're going to have the hypotenuse is equal to 7 over cosine of 42.5. $9.5 meters. Find the altitude of the triangle. Altitude is the height. That's this thing right here. So that's this. So we draw that again. So now we know that this is 7. We know that this is 9.5. We just found that. And this is 42.5. And they want us to find this. So you could do the Pythagorean theorem. You could go x squared plus 7 squared equals 9.5 squared. Let's try that. We got 9.5 squared minus 7 squared is 40. So if I subtract 7 squared over here, you get x squared equals 41.25. And then we're going to square root that. So we're going to do press second square root of the first answer here. You get 6.4. That's your answer. What's another way we could have found that? Using this triangle, we could have said the tangent of 42.5 is equal to the opposite, x, over the adjacent 7. And you could have cross multiplied this. So we should get the same answer as the last one. It's just another way. 7 times tangent of 42.5 is 6.4. Same answer as if you did the Pythagorean theorem. So once you know two sides, you have a choice. Once you know two sides, you can do Pythagorean theorem, or you could still do another trig function. Now, what is the area of this triangle? This is how you find an area of a triangle. So the base and the height are the two sides that form the 90-degree angle. They're the two sides that form the 90-degree angle. So it's this one and this one. So we know it's for sure going to be, the base is going to be 7. But what is that height? The height is the altitude that we just found. It was 6.4. So it's 1/2 times 7 times 6.4 for 22.4. And since it's an area, we're going to say it's meters squared. And that's your answer.